I remember the wars the Sheepherders had with the Fantastics and others, and was wondering if Jim had any crazy stories about Luke, Butch, or even Johnny Ace. Well, I wouldn't put Johnny Ace. I would maybe say John Boyd.
Yeah, there you go.
Any stories about the Sheepherders, Jim?
Yeah, well, and actually, people kind of get confused because there were two versions of the Sheepherders, Luke Williams and Jonathan Boyd, who had that great run in Memphis and had the great series with the Fabulous Ones and Stan Lane and Steve Kern. And then there was Luke Williams and Butch Miller, and Butch actually was Luke's partner going back to the Kiwis, and that was the original team. But for a while, Butch was out, and Jonathan Boyd was more noted for being partners with Norman Frederick Charles in the 70s as the Royal Kangaroos. And so then all the Australian teams kind of blended at that point. But the Sheepherders and Fantastics matches were fantastic, no pun intended. The run they had in Mid-South, because I think that really got Bobby Fulton and Tommy Rogers over with the guys a lot, because they're having these bloodbaths and they're fighting these fucking crazy guys that are trying to, literally bite and rip and, tear them apart. So because the Mid-South fans, the guys, they didn't want just the pretty boys. The rock and roll had to prove the same thing, that they'd fight too. So I think those matches really helped the Fantastics. And that was it's amazing that a team like this, noted for being the most hardcore, bloody, violent team in wrestling, or one of them, goes to the WWF and becomes the kids' fucking heroes within 6 months difference from the bloodthirsty Sheepherders to those fun-loving bushwhackers. But they got a whole new lease on life for years with independent shows and didn't have to keep cutting their forehead anymore. So I was always happy for Luke and Butch are just great guys. They're just Jonathan was the kind of guy that liked to start the day off with a smile to get it over with. He was just always just on the sour side of everything. But Luke and Butch are, happy guys that were always fun to be around. We got them. We worked with them in WCW in 88. I think it was either 88 or 88. But no, it was 88 because it was still Crockett.
Yeah.
They went to Winnipeg. And we had the people, because they were the New Zealand Sheepherders, right? And we're fucking Midnight Express. The people couldn't chant USA because they're in Canada. They didn't want to do that, right? So we got them chanting, and we were the baby faces. Canada, Canada. And Luke and Butch are selling like there's this giant rivalry and this horrible enmity between New Zealand and Canada. They're covering their ears, Canada. It was fucking hilarious. We got 10 minutes out of that. Didn't have to do anything.